Hi everyone, you are welcome to today's live where we are going to talk about the importance of setting boundaries, the importance of you using your no, because no is a complete sentence that does not require any explanations, and you are responsible for setting your own boundaries. And they say setting boundaries is a big form of self-care and self-love. You have to love yourself and you have to make people know the way you want to be treated. You are the one who gives them the blueprints of how to treat you. Like they say, you have to be the master of your faith, the captain of your own soul, the CEO of your own life. And to be that, you have to exercise boundaries. You have to know how to audit all the energy vampires around you. And so today's topic, we are going to discuss on what are personal boundaries. We are going to talk specifically about personal boundaries. Why is it so important for you to set and maintain personal boundaries? And how can you set your personal boundaries? And we are also going to discuss on how do you know if someone is crossing your boundaries and how to deal with that. So you're all welcome. And for those who are watching the replay, this is a topic to ponder on because you are responsible for your own growth, you are responsible for your own well being, and you are responsible for you. So you have to bring everything together to make you comfortable and to make you live your life the way you want and not spend all your time being a people pleaser. Being a people pleaser is one of those things that drain your energy because you want to satisfy everybody, and they say you cannot serve two masters. You can't serve everyone, and you can't make a policy of pleasing everybody because you will end up pleasing nobody. So you have to make a policy of pleasing yourself. Hi Balus, you are welcome, and I'm so happy to have you today. Today's topic is the importance of setting boundaries. And so we are going to start right away with what are your personal boundaries? You are free to contribute. If you want to come up, you are free to come up and discuss. I know you're preparing to go to work. I'm so blessed that you took time to stop by before going. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Okay, you're always welcome. So we were saying that setting personal boundaries is an important part of self-care, and you don't need to feel guilty. You just need to know that you did the right thing and you have peace with yourself. And that's the foundation. Learn to make peace with yourself. Learn to serve you first and learn to be the first on your own line. Like they say, when you are counting beautiful things, count you first. And when you count you first and you are the first on your own line, you know that you have to serve yourself. Hi, Sapphire Gates Gaming, you are welcome. I hope you had a beautiful weekend and you are welcome to today's show. Hi, Anita. I hope you are doing fine. Hi, it's Portugal today. I am happy to have you on this live show today and everyone else. Today's topic, we are talking about the importance of using your no. I'm glad to hear that you had a fun weekend and that you enjoyed the weekend too. So because most often we feel guilty when we don't respond to people's demands like they want. But if you don't set boundaries, there are some people who will spend their life asking, asking, asking. And so you are the one who has to set the boundary because it is all about you and your peace of mind and your priorities. So you have to, if you want to be the chief executive officer of your own life, you have to be the master, and you have to not only set the boundaries but make sure that you reinforce them, because people will always take advantage of a nice person because they know that you will always say yes. And most often we say yes and we are so overwhelmed with so many yeses for other people that we don't find time to do our own things. And so you have to be mindful of your own mental health and your well being. And to be mindful of this, you have to really be vigilant, because there are some people who they don't care about you, but you have to take the responsibility for your own well-being. Yes, Bible says I can tell my view on boundaries. I always draw the line before my breaking point, because people will always push the boundaries. That way I can shut them down before it gets there. Absolutely, you are right. Yes, you have to be vigilant. Hi, Lucy Emmanuel TV, you are welcome. Absolutely, Balus. I totally agree with you. You have to be vigilant, because if not, you are the one who is going to break. And when you break, that is your business. Nobody cares if you break. So you have to care for your own well-being. And so you don't only set the boundaries, but you make sure that you reinforce them. And sometimes it's so complicated because we have to set boundaries for our own family members or our spouses or for personal relationships. Those are so complicated, but for the good of everyone, you have to you have to just take it and take your responsibility, set the boundaries and bear the consequences. By the way, the consequences are always going to favor you when you set your boundaries and you put your peace of mind at the forefront. So no matter what people will say, or no matter how they what names they call you, at least you have your peace, and that is the most important thing for you. So I totally agree with you, values. You have to, especially before you get to breaking point, because people don't care if you break. That is your problem. And yes, we can only control ourselves and our reactions to others. It is up to us to control our environment. Absolutely, it is our responsibility, because there are people who know that when you are always giving, they will always ask. Hi, Patty. I'm so blessed to have you this morning. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. How is your grandson, who is always there with you, helping you? I am so proud of you for your milestones, and thank you for coming. So today's topic, we are asking the question: do you feel guilty when you say no? And we are talking about the importance of setting boundaries, because setting boundaries is an important part of self-care. And the most important thing for you is to safeguard your peace of mind. And when you say no, don't feel guilty, because when you say no and you feel at peace, that is the most important thing. So, Patty, I don't know, what do you think about setting boundaries and using your no? Because we said no is a complete sentence. You don't need to explain to the person why you're saying no. No, I can't do it now. Or no, I don't want to. Or you just tell them no. They ask for a favor, you say no. You don't need to explain, because the more you explain, the more people will not even understand. Thank you, Lucy Emmanuel, for sharing the live stream. I'm so blessed to have you today. As and I'm always so glad for your support. And so, why is it important to maintain personal boundaries? First of all, it allows you to have a healthy and fulfilling relationship with yourself first and with others, because you serve yourself first. And like Bible says, we can't control what other people do or what they will say, but we can decide how much we are going to let them affect our lives. So it's about not letting other people's priorities affect our own priorities. And that is why we have to be vigilant. We have to set our boundaries, and we have to follow up to make sure that we are within our own things that help us to grow. Setting boundaries helps us to stay true to ourselves. And it's because you are just your authentic you are not there to do things to please people. Even if they call you names, they say you're a bad person, you're strict, you're whatever, it doesn't matter, because whatever happens, you have to take care of you first. And when you set boundaries, it helps you to maintain self-respect. It sets the pace for people to know how you want to be treated, because you are the one who tells them how you want to be treated. You are the one who let people know how you want to be treated. And that is why it is so important for you to set boundaries. Yes, values, they have the right to their opinion, and we have our right to ours. Absolutely. We can only have a right to our opinion. We can't control what the other people's opinions are, but we can control how they affect us. And that is why setting boundaries is so important. I know it is really complicated sometimes, even in the workplace, because you have a boss who is overbearing, but you can also set boundaries at the workplace, sticking to your own rules and what you're expected to do, and not entering into some unnecessary fights with your colleagues or your boss or whoever is crossing the line. You stay at your own lane, and then you do your work. I know that some people will always cross, but you keep them at a distance, and you don't allow their negativity to influence you. Absolutely. But sometimes we don't even recognize when people are crossing the boundaries, because we don't know how to set our personal boundaries. How can you set personal boundaries? You have to first recognize when someone is crossing one of your boundaries. So you decide that, okay, I'm not going to be going to people's events when they don't come to mind. I'm not going to be a listening ear to a friend who does not listen to me when I have my own problems. Or I am not going to offer help every time I'm asked for the help to people who are not going to reciprocate. Sometimes you don't even care if they have to reciprocate, but you give it out and you don't expect anything in return. But don't give it out at the cost of your health, of your finances, of your life. You can give it out at no cost, but preserving your peace of mind. Balu says, at work, I choose to be the one sharing smiles, because it's better to get through the day with joy in our hearts, not focusing on what isn't perfect. You are perfectly right. But there are some people who will not reciprocate your smile, and who think that you are smiling too much. How do you deal with those kind of people? Hey, Memphis Freestyle, you are welcome. How was your weekend? I hope you had a beautiful weekend and you are ready for a productive week. Today's topic, we are talking about the importance of setting personal boundaries and trying to answer the question, do you feel guilty when you say no to something? So, what are your thoughts about it? We will be happy for you to share your thoughts about it. Like Balu says, whether at home or at work, with your relationships or colleagues, always wear that smile. Hey, little sis, you are so welcome. I hope you had a beautiful weekend and you are prepared for a very productive week. Yes, today's topic is the importance of sharing, the importance of creating your personal boundaries and making sure that people observe them. Over time, even some of the stone faced men smile. Yes, I know you can pull a smile from everybody, no matter how. And that smile alone, like they say, sometimes when you meet someone without a smile, give them one of yours. Some people really need those smiles and it really helps them. Hi, Rotimi, you're welcome. And thank you for the share and thank you for being here. I don't know if anybody wants to come up to share their ideas or we continue sharing in the chat. So we were saying, how can you set your personal boundaries? The first thing is to even recognize when someone is crossing one of your boundaries, because sometimes we don't even know that some people are taking advantage of us. So we have to be vigilant to know when people are taking advantage of us and to tell them no, and to really make them know that they are crossing the line. And how do you make that known? You communicate your boundaries to the person who is crossing them. Be clear and concise, because sometimes we take things for granted and we think that people will understand. No, you have to be clear and you have to make them know that I don't cross this line. I can go beyond this level. I can't go beyond this level. So you make them know precisely what you stand for, and and I'm laughing at my little sister who says the weekend was too short. Don't worry. Another weekend is coming very soon. And when you treat every day like a weekend, every day is a smile day. So keep smiling. I love the smile and I love the work that you're doing. And I am proud of you for all the milestones. Yes, and so when you communicate your boundaries to the person who is crossing them, you are clear and concise. It doesn't mean that they are going to respect what your boundaries are. They will always want to try to cross them, but you are the one who has to be make sure that you maintain them and that you implement what you have set out to to be, because your boundaries is embodied in what you want to be. And so you are the one who would reinforce it. And so you are the one who wants
Hello everyone.
who would reinforce it. Lucy, I am and so you are the one who wants. Can you mute your YouTube?
Hello everyone.
Yes, mute your YouTube. Mute your YouTube. You can mute your YouTube because the echo is coming from your YouTube. Yeah, some people try to gradually chip away at boundaries. It may start to happen without being aware until it has gone too far. That's why you have to be very vigilant all the time. You have to be very vigilant because it's a day-to-day thing. It's not something that it's your lifestyle. You live the lifestyle where you you put your boundaries and you communicate them, and you are willing to enforce your boundaries. This means standing up for yourself when someone tries to cross them and not letting people get away with violating your boundaries. So you tell them, because communication is so important. You have to tell some people, you have to spell it in black and white, like they say, before they would really understand. And so it is so important to recognize when somebody is crossing your boundaries to communicate your boundaries clearly and concisely to the person, and to be willing to enforce your boundaries. This means standing up for you. Be willing to stand up for you. Don't be a yes person all the time. And like they say, for your yes to have value, you must learn how to use your no. Because when people know that you are a yes person, they don't give you any value because they know that whatever thing they say, you're going to say yes to it. And that's why for your yes to have value, you have to learn how to use your no. Hi Ben, you are so welcome. I'm happy to have you here today in this live stream where we are discussing the importance of setting personal boundaries and not feeling guilty when you say no, because no is a complete sentence that does not require any explanations. You don't need to explain to people why you cannot do a service for them or why you can't do something. You just need to tell them. If they ask you and you see that it's going to interfere in your peace of mind or in your activities, you tell them no. And you don't need to feel guilty. You don't, even if they are family, even if it's your spouse, you just need to communicate clearly and concisely what your boundaries are, and then you are willing to reinforce them, because no one is going to reinforce them for you. Hi Lucy, are you there?
Yes, mommy, I'm here. Oh.
Okay, you just
Yes,
just
mommy.
yes, just unmute your the echo is coming from the YouTube tab. So you unmute the
Oh,
YouTube. Yeah, okay. So now you're
okay.
good. Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
mom. I think for me, if I said no to something that is not right, like maybe I have, for example, I have that thing, and let me just put it at from work. I have that thing and my colleague asked me for it, and it's something that I know that he really needed, and I don't really use that thing for anything. And instead of me to give it to him and I say no, I feel so bad, because why I feel bad is that that particular thing, what am I using it for? I didn't use it for anything, and I said no. That means to me and to myself, I, in fact, before God judge me, I have started judging myself, because I feel like that make me so greedy and so selfishness to my own side. So saying no to some kind, there is some certain thing you say no for, and it's a right thing. There is some certain thing you say no for, and that make you your conscience started judging you. So by me, by saying no to something that I know that that thing is about to help that person life, and I know that that person is falling inside the trap that I have to help, but I will say no just because of my selfishness and greediness. At the end, my conscience must judge me. So I, for my side, I think there is some certain thing we need to say no for. When you have the thing and you have that in excess, and you feel like helping that person, it should be helping that person, it should give glory to God. I think we should learn how to release that thing to someone else, so that another blessing can come to us. So mommy, that is for my own side.
And you are right. You are right. You are perfectly in order. The question is, why do you feel guilty when you say no? And also, if what you are saying no to, is it going to affect you if you help the person?
Yeah, that is why I said, if I say no to something, if I have that thing and someone asks me, I notice that giving out that thing, it will affect me, I will say no without my conscience judging me. But
Okay.
if I have that thing excess and someone asks me for it, and I know that I have this thing excess, that if I let some go, it's not going to affect me. So me saying no to it is mean that I am greediness and selfishness, because number one, if I keep some of that thing, it's not really going to affect me because I have it excess.
Absolutely. So we are saying that you can help somebody when it is convenient for you. You don't go out of your way to help somebody and then you feel the pain after, when the person has been helped and they have gone. Hi, the educated natural, you are so welcome. I am blessed to have you today in today's chat, and we are talking about, we want to answer the question, do you feel guilty when you say no? And we want to discuss the importance of setting boundaries and not feeling guilty. And like,
Ye-
yes,
yes, mommy, like for me, if I notice that giving away that thing is going to affect me, or it's going to affect my work, or it's going to, for example, I'm doing one work, and someone now come and say, Lucy, I don't have a job, oh, please can you step down on your job for me to do it. I'm just bringing it as a sample here, and I notice that this is the only thing I feed my family, this is the only thing I eat from. For me to step down for that person just because I want to help the person is going to definitely affect me. But for me, like, I have a two job in my hand, and I know that these two job, the person did not have anyone, and the person is definitely looking for a job to help his family, and I have a two job, I can step down from one for the person to start up from that one first, then I can continue one. But having one and step down for that one for that person to come and do it, mommy, there is you, it's not possible.
you are even so generous to think that you can step down from your job to help somebody. I hope the person is worthy of your sacrifice. Hi, Mountain of Inspiration. I am so blessed to have you here this morning. And I'm so, well, this morning here, I don't know, maybe it's afternoon for wherever people are. And I'm just laughing because Lucy is like, okay, I can help somebody when I have, and I don't want to feel guilty. And we are saying you don't need to feel guilty. Even if you have two and you can't help somebody, learn not to feel guilty, because the bottom line is your peace of mind and your own well being, and how that giving is going to affect you. So if the giving is not going to affect you, we are not saying that you shouldn't be kind to people. We should be kind to people, but there are some people who don't stop when they know that you are a kind person. They will push you to the end and squeeze everything from you, and then you are left with nothing, and then they don't come back to help you. Those are the kind of things we are talking about. Balu says, sometimes I feel sadness because it is something I wish I could help with. Yes, I feel it almost like a guilt. I should not feel that way because if I could have helped, I would have. Absolutely, that's what we are saying. You help when you can. Not Do not help at the detriment of your own well-being, of your peace of mind, of your own happiness. And so it's something that is so difficult for us because we are used to just saying yes, yes all the time.
Mommy,
Yes.
I to me, I think that some people that said yes all the time, even though you have that thing or you don't have, you say yes. Most of the people is doing high service. Most of people doing high service, what I mean by high service, you only do that thing for that person to like you do that thing for the environment to know that you can do, but inside of you are filled with bitterness. You feel like, why did I have to do that? Why would I do this? Because you're not doing it from your heart, you're only doing it for people to see. And most of that kind giving make your conscience, make you feel guilty, make you feel like, if I like, I know, you be like, I wish I know. I wish I know be say, that thing no come from your mind, but you do am so that the person can see you and smile like, this person can do it. For me, if I have excess, I give it to the person. Maybe I have one job and I notice that the person did not have at all at all. Then if I collect my salary out of my mind, I can tell the person, say, okay, take and go and buy pure water to your family. I'm just putting it for example now. I can say, take this one, part of my salary, and go and buy food for your children. That one is from my heart. I did not do it because I want the person to return back the favor to me, and I did not do it because I want the person to like me. I do it because it's from my heart, because the Bible said anything you do from your heart, you will collect the blessing hundredfold. But if you do anything that is not from your heart, you only do it for people to see. You only do it for people to bless you, for people to impress you. Ah, this person is so nice, this person is so kind, which is inside you, inside your conscience. You know that you are not kind, you only doing high service. And I think that such people, to my side though, I think such people cannot be blessed from God, because even your heart is not open enough for that gift that you are giving out. You're only doing it for those around you to see that you can do it. But anything you do from your heart, anything you do, even though how little that thing is, your conscience cannot judge you. You cannot feel guilty of that thing that you're doing. So that is for my own side what I think of, mommy.
Absolutely, you are right. And it's so interesting what is in the chat. Conscious services say, I used saying no used to be hard for me because of my nature to help others. And values as, how did you overcome it? So how do you overcome the habit of always trying to help others? We are not saying that you shouldn't help others. We are saying exactly, don't let people take advantage of you. Like Balu says, don't let people take advantage of you. And as for, once you already start doing something because you want people to see you like a nice person, and then you come back and you are hurting inside, that is just what we are saying. It is not necessary, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your well-being. Whatever you do out there to show people, it should come from your heart, and you should even just do it and leave it there, not doing something there. People have seen that you are a nice person, and then you come home and you're hurting. Who are you fooling? Balu says, yes, there is positive and negative. If we do a good deed for the wrong reasons, it creates a negative energy instead of positive. That's what we are talking about. And so instead of turning a positive into a negative, do it for the right reasons and create that positive energy around you. That's
Yes.
absolutely the summary of all that we are talking about. And sometimes we say, sometimes you don't even know that somebody is crossing your boundary, because some people have some people use some people use emotional manipulation. That is, they are experts of making you to feel bad, or making you to feel guilty, and saying, oh, look at this person, you have so much and you don't want to share, and things like that. And that is why you have to be vigilant. You have to be vigilant. How do you know that somebody is crossing your boundary? Really, each time you will feel that this person is using you, is exaggerating, because they do excessive requests. They are always asking, 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 and they make you feel guilty if you don't give. But it is you who has to set your boundaries, communicate them clearly, and be willing to implement or enforce your boundaries. If you have to be willing to stand for yourself. And really, when you make up a policy of pleasing everybody, do you have peace of mind after that? Most times it is not possible. And that's what we are talking about. And hey, my sister, you are so welcome. I enjoyed the corn and all the accessories that you put there. Girl, you are really enjoying. I'm so jealous of you right now. Do you know that? You're just there enjoying, right? So we are saying that you don't have to you don't have to let people manipulate your emotions. Don't allow people to manipulate your emotions. What does that mean? Don't allow people to make you feel guilty or feel bad or feel sad because you did not help them. And don't help people for the wrong reasons. Help people because you are in the position to help them, and you can help them without jeopardizing your own well-being. Even if sometimes there are some extreme situations where you really give to somebody who does not you really give to somebody who you know that really really needs it, and you really feel at peace
The ball has gone over the fence.
because you
Really?
help somebody. You feel at peace because you helped somebody. That is okay
The
because
ball
as
has gone
human,
over the fence. Really, guys?
sorry about that. So we are saying that you can help people within your limits. Don't go out of your way to help people. Or if you are going out of your way to help people, let it really be that the person really deserves it, and let it not affect your own peace or your own well-being. Don't go and help somebody because you want people to see around that you are a good person. No, that's helping people for the wrong reasons. That is your ego playing, and that's you like vanity, because people will say good things about me when really I'm not a good person. That is not what we want people who this from this life. Bible says, I had a good-hearted friend who found a perfect way to deal with those people. He would tell them whatever they can do to help their situation. He will contribute the same. Absolutely. Because when you even work for your own betterment, it's more sustainable. Yes, I'm coming for holidays, so you wait for me. I have to come and enjoy some real authentic fresh corn. If they were not willing to help themselves, they got nothing from him. And that's why we say you cannot help somebody who is not willing to help themselves. You can't help somebody who is not willing to help themselves. And like that's the same thing, like you cannot take a horse to the river and force it to drink when it does not want to drink. So most often you can help people who want to help themselves. Even if you go out of your way, you know you're doing a good deed and that person is really making the effort to help themselves. And so your friend had to handle it that way because of the reasons they were in need. He couldn't be their target any longer. Absolutely. When you find an authentic person who wants real help, they really work for it. I know that there are some extreme situations where people really don't have a choice. They really don't know what to do. And then they can't really help themselves. But we are talking about the situation where people think that because you are always giving and that you are open handed, they will always do excessive requests. They are always asking, even when they don't absolutely need it. And that's where your boundaries come in. You have to be the master, you have to be the captain of your own ship. You have to do the right thing and be at peace. And
Yes,
so the
mommy.
yeah,
Sorry, mommy. Like when it comes for helping people, there is some people that take advantage of your help. How you know that this person is taking advantage of your help? Like person like me, this is the kind of job I'm doing, and I notice that a mother out there he struggle to feed, maybe every time he's begging for the food. And you look for the job for the person, you'll be like, God forbid, I can't do this type of work. Oh, I can't do. You will notice that this particular person is not really, he's not even want to help himself. He's just used to that begging. Okay, there was a lady. Like every time I go, I will try all my best for what I have, a little that I have, to also buy things for her. And one day I now ask her that this is my job, oh, and my boss has told me that if I have someone, that a friend is looking for somebody. And I went to tell this woman, she was like, God forbid, I can't do that type of job. I can't do this, I can't do that. I was like, really? Wow.
But
You can't
that's
do this?
somebody what they don't
Yes.
want to help themselves.
Yes, no, that is someone that depends on people. You know, she depends on people. She doesn't even want to take a step of helping herself out. So such person, I don't think that such person, to my side, I don't think that such person really need my help, because if I help you for a long time and I notice that this is the kind of thing that can even giving you this thing that is giving me, this is the kind of thing that give me food, and I find out the thing for you to also bring food for your table, than stopping standing on the road or seeing anybody you like abeg if you get carry, that kind of things. No, it's not that I'm saying it in the wrong way, but we are talking about how you help someone and the people take advantage. Such people, you will know that they are, even them inside them, they are used to that begging. And what do for you to just live on, for you not to make your conscience start judging you, you have to let her be, or let he be, because he's not ready to help himself. Maybe when he's ready to help himself, he will come to you and ask you that, please, oh, I'm looking for a job. That time you know how to help the person out. But doing it because you still want the people around there to notice that you are the one. Like some people that do something so that people will say, if not because of me, if not because of me, so so person for not be here, if not because of me. Before you even help the person out, you have started proud about the thing that you do. To me, I don't think that God bless such people, because if not because of me, will you be here? If not because of me, will you eat? For me, I don't think God bless such people. So any help we want to render for people, you should render that help from your heart, from your mind, so that in the turn, God can also bless you. God might not bless you from that person. God might not from the person to bless you, but you bring someone else that you don't even know before to bless you. But you now that help the person with all your heart, you might forget about the help. You might not even remember about that particular help, but you just see that God will bring someone from outside to help you. Why did I say it? We should learn how to help people from our heart, not from high surface. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely, you are right. And when we are helping people, we are not even expecting to get anything in return. And I want to salute my brother Black Guns and Gardens. You are so welcome to the to today's live stream and to the topic. I want us to think again about what Lucy has just said and what Balu said. If people are not willing to help themselves, don't continue giving them. Don't let people use emotional blackmail, because they are experts at emotional manipulation. They know exactly what to say to you and what response to give you for you to feel bad, or for you to feel guilty, or for you to feel sad. You don't owe them anything. Don't let them manipulate you. Be a good person. A good person is a good person, but don't let people take your kindness for granted, because some people just know that when you are a kind person, they will keep coming to you because they know that you don't know how to say no. It is left to you now to see if this person really deserves your help or no. And you don't need to feel guilty if you tell them no, because they are not willing to help themselves. We are not talking about people who really cannot help themselves. They are, if you see someone who cannot help themselves, you know, and you can help them like a Christian, or even if you're not a Christian, like a human being, you help your fellow humans, but not at the detriment of your own well-being and of your own peace of mind. Bible says when we are in need, it comes from somewhere else. We pay forward and create a positive ripple effect when we give joyfully. Absolutely. And that's what Lucy was saying, that when you do a good thing, God pays you in a different way. It's not from that person. You get something, you get a reward from somewhere, even what God has given you freely. And this is why the concept of paying forward is so important, because we don't put conditions when we are helping. But when we are saying, do not help people who don't want to help themselves. You see some healthy person who does not want to do anything at all because they think that they can always ask. They are always excessively requesting for one favor or the other, and they are not willing to change their lives, to change their situations. Last Christmas, they came for you, they came to you for Christmas gifts. This Christmas, they are coming. Girl, tell them you don't have, and you tell them no, I'm not giving you anything this Christmas. It's difficult, I know, because like we say, sometimes they are family members and you think they are your blood. How can you just leave them? I learned to say no to my family too. It was not easy, but those that wanted to help themselves, I could help them as much as I could. Those that don't want to help themselves, stay where you are. I don't. It's a continuous work. I used to really also feel guilty. I'm a very nice person. I used to really be a yes person for everybody's service. I'm doing yes. You want me to come and help? I'm everywhere helping people. But when I needed help, there was nobody. I don't even hold them any grudge, but I learned to say no when next they came, and not to feel guilty, because I had to protect my peace. I had to protect my peace of mind. It is my responsibility to protect myself. And so, if the people who are bringing you or making you feel guilty or making you feel like bad because you didn't want to help them, that is their problem. You can't control the way they think about you, but you can control the way they make you feel by not accepting them to cross your boundaries. And how do you do that? You recognize when someone is crossing one of your boundaries, and you communicate clearly to them, concisely and clear to them. I don't want you to cross this line. And then you are willing to reinforce it. When you say, I don't want to cross this line, be willing to say no to everyone, no matter who they are, so long as they are crossing your line and they are going to make you feel pain, or they are going to give you some emotional trauma. Don't allow people to give you emotional trauma, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. So, setting boundaries is an important part of self care. And self care is not selfish, because you have to take care of yourself to be there for other people. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't be there for other people. You have to take care of yourself first. That will give you the energy to take care of other people. And do you want to be right, or do you want peace? You want to be right with people who ask and you say yes, 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 and then you don't have peace. You always have to ask yourself, what am I getting from this? It's not that you are It's not that you are doing business. Like my coach always says, life is a business transaction, whether we like it or not. We might we Because when they say business transaction, people think of money. No, we are talking about emotions. We are talking about health. We are talking about well-being. Thank you, sis. I'm so happy that you are there listening. Yes, Bible says, I have continuously set a man straight. It is the point where I just laugh at him. I told him he can't wear me down. I stand firm in my Lord and know the abundant strength. When you are standing on the Lord, you are standing on solid ground. So you are doing the right thing. And that's why we are saying be willing to enforce your boundaries, which means be willing to stand up when someone tries to cross your boundaries and not let people get away with violating your boundaries. Stand up for yourself. Stand firm. Balus is standing up for herself and standing firm in the Lord because that is her own solid ground. You might not believe in God, but you believe in yourself. Stand for yourself. Nobody is coming to stand for you. You have to stand for yourself. And then, like they say, God helps those who help themselves. Absolutely. You can never let you down because when you are your own best friend, you can never let you down. Okay. Okay, you are welcome. I will check. So don't let yourself down because you are your own rescue. You are the first on your own line. You are your own best friend. And what do best friends do for each other? They cater for their best friend's well being. And there are people who, the more you give, the more they will be asking. Set your boundaries
Yes, so.
and make sure that you will enforce it. Boundaries are just,
Yes, mommy. They
yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Yes, there is some people that you keep giving them. The day you don't have, they judge you. They will judge you. They will be the one sit down. In fact, do meeting on your head. They won't even know whether you have or not because you have made them used to it. You have made them used to that gift. You have not showed them the way to fetch the fish. You never teach them how to catch the fish. You only teach them where they have, you gift. Where they have, you gift. And the day you don't have to give, you become their enemy. You become their worst enemy. Maybe, okay, let me put it, there is a sister video that I watched. Is it last month? It will be last month or this month. I think, what is this our sister's name? Where she was saying that when a family see you that you are outside the country, they will think that you have a tree that you're plucking the money. The day you don't give, I want to say that it's not only outside the country o. Once you cross this river Niger to to Lagos state, most of them don't know whether you are sleeping on uncompleted building. Most of them don't know whether you are living at Kpako house. Most of them don't know whether you're sleeping under bridge. They will ask you that you did not even see food to eat in where you are, because they ask you want to prove that you are in the city, you be sending. They ask you want to prove that you are in the city, you be giving. Some of them, in fact, some of our people will even go and borrow people to send. That is what I call eye service to my side. That is what I call eye service. You don't have that thing, you don't have. You open up to the person that for now you don't have. Than for you to even go to the extent that you go and borrow somebody to send. so that maybe in tomorrow, anytime you travel to the village, they will say, ah, hey, this, that. Which is the cloth that you're wearing, you borrow. The shoe that you're wearing, you borrow somebody. Even the hair that you putting on is borrow that you borrow. But why are you showing yourself? You do that because you want people to see that you can do it. And at the end, when all those people that you used to borrow tire to borrow you don't have it again to send, you become the worst enemy to the family. You become the, in fact, if they mention your name, they will be like, that one, because you have made them used to it. You have never teach them that this is the kind of fish you are fetching. You're doing security work, you travel, you carry 1 month salary and buy shoe that is higher than your salary to show yourself. You never tell them that this is what you're doing. There is some of them that would love to do that work, but because of our proud, because of you don't want them to know the kind of job you're doing, you don't want to show them the way to catch the fish, and you are used to sending it to them at the end, because that gift you are giving them, it did not from your heart, it did not from your mind. After you finish giving them, you'll be decreed, you'll be your conscience, you'll be like, oh my God, oh, they are still disturbing, because it did not from your mind. At the end of the day, you get tired. You get tired. Once you get tired to give, you become the enemy to the family, you become the enemy to your friends, you become the enemy. If you are a man, you become the enemy to the girlfriend, because if you keep borrowing your friend money to go and buy ice cream to your girlfriend, you have made the girlfriend to the ice cream. The day you did not buy for her, she sees someone else that will buy more than that for her, she will jump into it. At the end, you are enemy to that your girlfriend, which is the girl sef will not know that right from the starting you are empty pocket, you are borrow make me rich. So we should learn how to be ourselves. By the time we learn how to be ourselves, I don't think that our conscience will judge us when we are giving out, because we give it through our heart. But if you don't be yourself, you want to be like someone else, and when you finish doing it, definitely your conscience will definitely judge you, because that is not who you are. So that is, for me, that is what I think, that is the main reason that our conscience is judging us after giving out. Thank you, everyone. I
Thank
hope
you.
I make sense, sha.
You make a lot of sense, and that is, you make so much sense, and that is why it is so important to be authentic. Just be you. You don't need to pretend. It's so difficult when you are pretending to be something that you are not. It is so much easy when you are just your authentic self. Just be you. Tell your family that, and that's where communication is so important. They say communicate your boundaries, be clear and concise. Tell your family that, look, this Lagos where I'm living, things are not as easy as back in the village where you can go to the farm and harvest food. Everything here you have to buy it, and I don't even have the money now. I am just still struggling. Look at the job that I am doing. It doesn't matter whether people will laugh at you because they will say you left the village just to go and be a security guard. And so what? You are doing it for you because you want to improve yourself. And so you don't owe anybody any explanation, or you are not. They, if they want to have the money, let them too come to Lagos and do the work, because they are not even willing to come and do what you're doing. And so you have to be authentic, and you have to clearly communicate and be concise. I always go back to my own example. I used to work, and have I would take care of my parents, my siblings, as much as I can. Now, when I am not working, I tell them, look, now I am not working and I don't have any money to assist anybody. And I don't care what they think. Like Balu says, don't worry, that is between them and their creator, because whoever they speak bad about you to will eventually see them clearly. You don't even need to justify anything. You just need to be authentic, and then you communicate concisely and be clear on the boundaries. Now it's not possible for me to send money to anybody. And then you just be you. When you think that you have to go and borrow things to go and show your family, by the way, your family are the should be the first people who should know you who you are. They should, as they see you, they should know that this is there's this is when they see you, this is what they get. There's nothing behind. You are not hiding anything. And really, it is so tedious when you are struggling to be someone else, when you are struggling to live another person's life. Your competition should be with you every day to become a better person than you were the day before, and not to look at what other people they are wearing designer clothes, and you take all your salary and go and buy designers clothes to show people who don't even care, or who don't even like you, who will not even notice that you are wearing designers clothes, and then you come back and you're dying with debts. Who are you fooling, and who is suffering? So that's why we say you have to communicate. You have to communicate. Communication is always coming up because it is important in everything that we do. You have to communicate. Tell people things are not moving now. I am in a transition state. I can't help you now as I used to help you. There are people who always call you names, and that you have to be sure of that. You cannot satisfy everybody. Those people that you used to give money to, they are always the first people to say, what are you doing? Like me, I will always use my case. I don't have children, and back home we have we are aunties to our sisters' children, our cousins' children, and all of that. So family for us is at in the large sense of the word. So I don't have children. When I have money, I will help all those that I can help. Now they are the first person to say, what is she doing with her money? They forget that I send it to them.
Mm-hmm.
They are always the first to ask, what's she even doing with her money? She has no children. As if I owe them. I don't owe them. I don't work for them. I work for me. And so when I realized that I was helping them and they were taking it for granted, I cut it off. I don't feel any guilty. I don't feel any bad because I am preserving my peace. I don't care what they say. That is their business. It is not mine. But you have to be able to. Hi, my cousin is here. Hi, David. You are so welcome to this live stream. Today we are talking about the importance of setting boundaries. And I want to ask you the question, do you feel guilty when you say no? What do you think about it? So we are talking about you setting your boundaries and not feeling guilty about when you say no to anybody. And when you say no, it is a complete sentence. You don't need to explain why you're saying no. If you cannot do it, if it's going to affect your peace, you have the right to say no because you are the captain of your soul, and you are the one responsible for your own mental and general well-being. So what do you all feel guilty when you say no? I really want to hear your thoughts about it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there are people who will who will try to manipulate you emotionally by making you feel bad or guilty or sad when you don't help them. And then how do you know them? They are excessively they are people who ask excessively. They are always asking. They are always asking for one favor or another, or some unreasonable demands. And then when they don't have it, they call you names or you do. So I am like you. I don't feel guilty when I say no, and I don't feel sad. I don't feel bad when it is no, when I know that it's going to affect my peace. I say no, and I don't feel any guilt about it, because my responsibility first is to protect my peace and my well being. If I don't protect myself, how will I be there to protect others or to help others? And so I have gone to that level, but it is not easy, because most of the time it is with family, it is with your spouse, it is with people, your colleagues, people you see every day. And so you think that you have some kind of responsibility towards them. Thanks sis for the love. You think you have some responsibility for them, and then you go out of your way. And despite all of that, they still find a way to complain about you. And so it's it's your responsibility to make you your priority, and not feel guilty about it, and not feel sad, and not feel bad. We are not saying that you should not help people. We are saying you should help people to the limits of guarding your own well-being. Don't go out of your way to help people because you want to show people that you are a good person, and then you come back home and you are bleeding and you are hurting.
Come back home with empty handed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, mommy, because there is some people that, especially in this Lagos state, you have been working for years to years, but at the end of the year, it doesn't show that you are working, because you are working to help. It's not that to help somebody is a crime, or to help somebody is not good. It's good to help somebody, but we should help somebody and also demand some for ourselves in case of incasity. You know, there is one thing that my boss used to say: if I'm paying you salary, when you spend your salary, you keep some in case of emergency. Don't come and tell me to borrow you money. So I'm just saying this because if you want to help, you should help somebody according to your own pocket. Don't overdo it, because even if you overdo it, even God himself will not bless you, because you did not do it out of your mind. You're just overdoing it, you're showing up. So we should try to help somebody according to our pocket. If we have, for example, you have 100 naira and someone is asking you for 50 naira, and you know that where you're going can 50 naira can take you, or 30 naira can take you to where you are going, the main change for you. You are free to help that person. But if you have 100 naira and you know where you're going sef, you sef you're still looking for extra 100 naira to add to get to that place, and it's only 100 naira you have with you, you are even looking for who to borrow another 100 naira to join to get where you're going, and someone just come and say, please, oh, I'm looking for 100 naira, which is the person that is even begging you. He want to take advantage of you. He has the more than 100 naira on his pocket, but because he don't want the person to feel bad, you don't want the person to like, he begged me for common 100 naira and I can't give. You now remove the 100 naira that you have to that person, and at the end you will come back and be looking for 200 naira. To me, I don't think that is help. That is not help. You're showing up, you're not helping the person, because you help according to what you have, you don't help for what you don't have. So for you to carry your, for example, carry the last card in your pocket and give it to somebody, and you went to stand in the bus stop to beg somebody transport, does that make sense? Does that look like an help? To me, I don't think that is help. I think that you're just doing it because you want to do it. You're doing it so that the person will not feel bad. It's better the person to feel bad than your conscience to judge you. It's better for the person to feel bad and let only you and your God know that you don't have. So that is what I think.
I want us to come back to what Balu said. We have to respect ourselves if we expect others to respect us, and being
Mm-hmm.
respectable and being a doormat are two different things. Boundaries are important. I don't even think I don't think you should give somebody your last money when you need it. You are your own priority. I'm sorry to say that I may sound like I'm out of this world, but if I have my last $1 and somebody comes and is asking for that dollar, girl, I'm going to keep my dollar. I need it more. I really sometimes, well, maybe I'm just being too excessive, but there's no use to give somebody everything you have and then you go and you are hurting and then you go start begging. It doesn't make sense. You give from your overflow, serve from your overflow. I don't mean that you shouldn't help people. Helping people is what human beings are made of. We are wired to serve. But does it make sense for you to serve and go and beg? You can't you can share your last plate with somebody, but don't give it them all of it and then you go and start begging for food. That does not make sense. And somebody who comes to ask for a favor from you and say common 100 naira, well, if it's common 100 naira, then go work for it yourself. Because there are some people who are so rude and they think that they are entitled to you helping them. Set those boundaries and be clear to them. Don't allow them to cross. If you don't owe them anything, you're giving them out of your own benevolence and your own goodwill, and you're giving them like, okay, this is a fellow human, I can help them without hurting. It doesn't make sense for you to give everything you have and then you go and start begging. That does not make sense. Give from your overflow and keep your peace of mind, especially when there are some ungrateful people. You can't come and tell me that it's common. This, if it's common, then go find it yourself. So you have to be vigilant. You are going to help those who really need the help. Sometimes you fall prey to the emotional manipulation because these people know the right words to say and the right responses to give that will make you feel sorry for them. And then later you are there hurting. No, you have to be vigilant. You have to be vigilant. Set your personal boundaries. Be vigilant to recognize them. Be vigilant to call people to order when they are crossing your line. Stand up for yourself when somebody tries to cross your line, and don't let people get away with violating your boundaries. Tell them, communicate your boundaries to them. Be clear and concise, and do not allow them to manipulate you emotionally because you will feel guilt, you will feel sad, or you will feel bad that you didn't help them. God knows that when you can't help somebody, you can't help somebody. God also knows when you can help somebody and you decide not to help them just because but that is your life. You shouldn't feel guilty about it. And so the topic today is, do you feel guilty when you say no? And I am saying that setting boundaries is very important for your self-care, and that you don't need to feel guilty, and that sometimes just say no. You don't need to find a way to explain why you said no and why you can't give, or why it is not like this. You don't owe them any explanation, because why? They will always call you names when you don't satisfy them. They will always call you names. Even when you satisfy them, they will still call you names. And so what is more important, for them to call you names when you have your peace, or for them to call you names when you are hurting? Because Either way, they are going to keep calling you names because that's how human nature is. There are some people who always complain. They don't see any good in anything. They are so negative. All of what they know is negativity. They are so always criticizing, always complaining, and all of that. Don't let such people drain your energy. When you are setting your boundaries, you don't have to feel guilty. Whether be it with your family members, at your workplace, just be authentic. Just be your authentic self and do what you know is the right thing. But sometimes when you are doing the right thing and it affects your peace, you have to also consider it. So it's a lifestyle, and you have to be vigilant. You have to always look out for yourself, because at the end of the day, you are your first rescue. Any other rescue comes as a bonus. It's secondary. So, and that's why it is so important for your own self-care and self-love. When you love yourself, you can do anything for you. And that's why they say when you are your own best friend, how do you treat your best friend? You give them the best without feeling guilty. And if the person is your best friend, whatever you do for them, they recognize it, that you do it from your heart, and that you do it without waiting for a reward. And so setting boundaries, especially personal boundaries, is so important for your well-being, and it allows you to effectively deal with life's challenges, because there are challenges every day. Life is like that. You have ups and downs, you have lows and you have highs. That is why you need your peace. You need your peace of mind to be able to walk through those challenges without too much strain, without hurting a lot. You will be strained, but you have to mitigate the impact by protecting your peace and protecting yourself. And it is your responsibility. Nobody is coming to do it for you. Like you say, if you say you are the CEO of your own life and you are the captain of your own soul, like Oprah will say, you are the master of your fate. Then, if you are responsible for you, know that when you say no to protect your peace and not saying no because you don't, or not saying yes because you don't want to feel people to feel bad about you, or people to see you in a certain way, you are on point when you say no to protect your peace. Because when you crash, you are the one who has crashed. When will people say, oh, I'm sorry about what happened to you, or I'm sorry to hear that this happened to you? And what next? You have to rescue yourself. Hey, Oban, my sister, I'm so happy that you are here working and listening. Thank you for giving a listening ear, even though you are at work. I am always so blessed to have you around. Today, we were talking about setting boundaries, how important setting boundaries in your personal life is. And we try to answer the question, do you feel guilty when you say no? And predominantly, it was I don't feel guilty when I say no. My cousin David doesn't feel guilty when he says no. And all the people who came to the chat, they don't feel guilty when they say no, because they have learned. Oh, okay. I miss Saturdays are always so really, especially mornings when you have your life. But I catch the replays. And but this Saturday, no, I didn't. This Saturday, it's so important. I'm glad you talked about it because it's such an important topic. Because why? There are people who are captains, they are champions of emotional manipulation because they know exactly what to say and how to say it to make you feel guilty, to make you feel sad, to make you feel bad because you are not responding favorably to their excessive requests. Oh no, that's okay. Thank you so much for coming. Your job first, and I greatly appreciate you coming and participating and giving such deep insights and very, very, very important and necessary recommendations. I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of the work you're doing. I celebrate your milestones. I celebrate the work that you do and the impact that you are creating. So ride on and we are together. So this topic about setting boundaries, you sometimes you don't even know how far people can go to do or to make you feel guilty or feel sad. Oh no, this especially those of us who come from Africa, when you are not living at home, they say so, that person is so selfish. All the money that they have, they don't want to share. No matter how much you share, they will still complain. And no matter how much you give, they will still expect you to give more until you bleed. There are people who will never be grateful for what they receive. They always complain, 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 and then they always ask, ask, ask. And they are champions of emotional manipulation because they know exactly what to say and to do or what response to give you, so you will feel guilty, you will feel bad because you didn't help them. But you are responsible for your own peace. And so when you say no next time, to protect your peace, don't feel any guilt and don't feel bad because absolutely they are there to suck you dry. I absolutely understand what you're saying and I agree with you because some people will continue asking so long as you continue giving. And so it's left for you now to be vigilant, to see, to recognize when people are crossing one of your boundaries. You have the responsibility to always check on you, recognize it, communicate clearly to them, communicate your boundaries clearly and concisely to everyone around you, and be willing to enforce your boundaries because you have to stand up for yourself when someone tries to cross your boundaries. Don't let people get away with violating your boundaries. Stand up for yourself because why? You are your own rescue. First, any help comes secondary. And you have you have to be responsible for your mental health. You have to be responsible for your well-being because you are the one who shows people how you want to be treated. If you want people to treat you well, then you show them how to treat you. Like Balu says, if you want people to respect you, you respect yourself first. And so it's a you thing. People are just like my grandmother would say, even when you are a couple, for people who have spouses, at the end of the day, everyone is sleeping on their own side of the bed. You don't sleep together. Everybody is an individual. Thank you so much, mommy. God bless you and everyone. Thank you so much. God bless you too. And so we're saying that you are your own individual before being in a family, before being in in a group. Who do we have here? Hello, Unique Speaks. Good afternoon. Thank you for the blessings. God bless you too. And thank you for coming. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. I hope you're ready for a productive week. Today we were trying to discuss about the importance of setting personal boundaries, and we wanted to answer the questions: do you feel guilty when you say no? So do you feel guilty when you say no? Unique Speaks, I would like to hear your thoughts about the topic. Do you feel guilty when you say no? And I was sharing that I have reached a point in my life when I say no without needing to explain anything to anybody. I use no as a complete sentence. I don't need to explain. When I can't do it or when I can't give you, I say no without needing to explain to you. No, it's because of this. I don't give any explanations. I tell you no, I can't do it. No, it's not possible. And that I feel very comfortable about it. I have learned, because it's a process, I learn not to feel guilty when I say no, or not to feel bad when I say no to people. Because why? I realized that there were people who were trying to manipulate me emotionally. They want to make me feel guilty or feel bad when I don't help them. Balu says, abundant strength to each and every one of you. Sometimes self preservation is necessary. Do not feel guilt about controlling your environment. Absolutely. Yes, I want to know, do you feel guilty when you say no to something or to somebody? Somebody asks you for a favor and then you say no, and and then later you feel, oh my God, I should have helped the person. Or do you always have that feeling? Do you feel guilty about saying no? Yes, if you want to put it that way. Do you feel guilty about saying no? I don't feel guilty because I realize that when I say no or when I set my personal boundaries, it allows me to have healthy and fulfilling relationships, because I tell them concisely and precisely what my boundaries are. I communicate my boundaries, and in that way I like I can decide how much I'm going to let people's drama affect me. I'm not responsible for what they would say or what they think, but I'm responsible for protecting my peace. And so when I learn to set personal boundaries, it helped me to become my true self and to maintain my self respect. Because there are people who don't stop at asking, or who don't stop at abusing you if you don't recognize your boundaries, if you don't communicate your boundaries clearly, concisely, and if you are not willing to enforce your boundaries. Unique Speak says, to the question, do you feel guilty when you say no? Or do you feel guilty about saying no? She says, no, I don't feel guilty usually. I try to pray more now before any decision I make. And also the spirit of discernment helps be confident in my answer. Absolutely. Prayer really helps. Prayer is the master key, like we say, because when you are a praying person and you always seek for the spirit of discernment, it really helps. It helps you a lot, because most of the time the decisions that you make are the right decisions. But sometimes it's so difficult for us. Sometimes you have a situation where you don't even have time to think about it. You just meet a situation and you you need to somebody ask for help. And usually it's even people who always excessive requests. They are always asking for one thing or one favor or the other, and sometimes they are really unnecessary demands. You don't even have time to think about them. Or you have certain friends who are always asking, and they are never there for you. And then when you decide now, because you have seen the trends and you think that you are the one who is being used, and you decide to say no, and then they start calling you names. And we are saying don't feel guilty and don't feel bad, because that is their perception and that is their business. It is not your business what they think about you or what they say about you. Your business is to protect your peace, and your business is to protect you, because you are your own best friend. You are your own protector first, and you are the one who gives them the blueprint of how to treat you, or how to look at you, or how to respect you. So when you look at it at this angle, that I am responsible for me, and that I have to work for my well-being and for my peace of mind, you now know that every excessive request, or people who consume your time, who waste your time, or people who want to use emotional manipulation, it doesn't work again, because you are conscious of your priorities. So when you make you your priority, you go all the way and enforce your boundaries, which means stand you have to stand up for yourself when someone tries to cross your boundary. And you don't have to let people get away with violating your boundaries. You tell them. That's why communication is so important. You have to always communicate. So don't take it for granted. Sometimes people don't, like, they ask you a favor and then you don't respond, and then they are there not knowing whether you're going to say yes or no. Tell them no upfront, and let them decide, or let them say what they want to say, or think what they want to think about you. So don't let people to imagine, or to think, or to infer. You have to communicate concisely and clearly. And Unique says, if someone asks me something on the spot, I will still let them know. I'll get back to them. But if it's a person that always asks and God already showed me who they are, it's a straight no. Absolutely, girl. Because, and that's something that we always feel guilty about. We don't want to tell people, I will get back to you, because it's like we owe them. We have to do it for them. And then we precipitate and go ahead and do something that we regret later. Or we go ahead and give them the help when they don't really need it, or when they can really help themselves. And when, because there are people who cannot help themselves, that's okay. But there are people who don't even just want to help themselves. And those are the kind of people we are talking about. There is somebody, if they are willing to help themselves, you can help them to help themselves. There are people who are not willing to help themselves. And so I think telling somebody that I will get back to you is a good thing. It's a good strategy that gives you time now to really measure if what help they are asking for is really necessary, or if after you give, you're going to keep your peace, or it's not going to affect you, or you're not going to get hurt. And really, when you are praying, I totally agree with you. When you are a prayerful person, God shows people to you most often. For me, most of the things that happen to me, I see them before they happen. I I see them in my dream and then they happen. Sometimes I ignore them and then I get the consequences. But most often I have a God shows them to me. Balu says, yes, unique. Earlier, when I believe it was okay, I was thinking this is why I asked myself, what would Jesus do? Yep. But there are people who don't believe in Jesus and who just live their lives like that. We are not judging anybody. I'm just commending the people who are prayerful, that it really helps, it works, it gives you a clear discernment of the right thing to do. And really, the people who want you to feel guilty, it's not like they really can't do it. They just want to exploit you. There are some people who want to just exploit your kindness. They want to exploit the fact that you are a generous person or that you are a kind person. And then they go to the extremes to exploit your kindness and your generosity. And what happens? They block they block you from helping those who really genuinely need help because they spoiled the road for other people. And Balu says, at the end of the day, regardless of our spiritual beliefs, we must be able to look ourselves in the mirror. Authenticity. Because the mirror is what gives you authentically what you are. When you are doing anything, don't do it because you are doing it for what people will say or how people will see you. Just be your authentic self and do you without, like, I want to show people that I'm a good person. I want to show people that it doesn't help you. Because most often, when you show people, at the end of the day, when you make an evaluation, you take stock back when you are with you find that I shouldn't have done this thing because now it is hurting me, it is affecting my peace. Meanwhile, the people, like somebody said, you want to borrow money to buy a car that you don't need or to buy something that you don't need to show people who don't even care, and then you come back and you are languishing in debt, or you are languishing and asking yourself, how am I going to get out of this? Meanwhile, you put yourself there for no good reason. Why? Because you just want to show or live a life that is not yours. Meanwhile, when you are your authentic self, living your authentic life is much, much easier. It's the easiest thing for you to do. Just be you. And life is so easy. When you want to start trying to be like other people, it's so tedious, it's so difficult, and it's because you are focused on not you are focused on not crossing the line, or you even forgot the story that you told yesterday, and then you come and contradict yourself. And every time you're trying to find a justification, it's so time and energy consuming when you're finding a justification to make face, like they say, people should see you for who you are not. It is so tedious. Be your authentic self and do not feel guilty when you say no, especially to somebody who does not deserve it. Be vigilant to identify and recognize when someone is crossing one of your boundaries. Be vigilant to all those people who want to manipulate you emotionally, saying the right words and giving the right answers to make you feel guilty, or to make you feel guilty or feel bad when you don't help them. And Unique Speak says, when people stop seeking validation Once people stop seeking validation from people, I believe the better we are able to make good decisions. Absolutely. Because most of the times we have made bad decisions because we wanted to please people, or we wanted to show a good face, or we wanted to step outside our authentic self. Or you think that I have some friend there, what will my friend think about it? No. What do I think about it? And how is this thing going to affect me? Is it building me or is it breaking me? Those are the questions you should ask. How is it affecting me? Is it building me or is it breaking me? And that is where you determine the kind of answer that you give to people. Will this thing break me or will it build me? And when you always focus on yourself, people say you are selfish. No, self care is not selfish, and self care is self love. And if you don't love yourself, how can you give out love? The love you give out what you have, you give out what you are. You can't give what you don't have. And so you have to build your own self love, build your own self care. You have to, because it's a daily habit to love you, to be your best friend, to be there for you, and then you can be there for other people. Because you have to, when you say you are the chief executive officer of your own life and you are the captain of your soul, it means you are your priority, which also means you set the boundaries, because setting a healthy boundary helps you get fulfilling relationships. Unique says it's okay to be selfish, especially when you are protecting your mental, spiritual, and physical being. Absolutely, I totally agree with you. It is people who even determines what is selfish, because it's selfish for them, but it's not selfish to you. You have to serve you first. We have grown in a society where people think you have to serve others first. No, I think progressively, when we serve ourselves first, we are more equipped to serve others. And that is something that people learn. When you serve yourself first, you are more equipped to serve others. If you are not, if your general well-being is affected, how are you going to help somebody? So they will always say selfish so as to make you feel guilty or to make you feel bad. Meanwhile, they are the people who are selfish because they make you feel, they make you think you're selfish so that you feel bad. Oh, I could have helped this person. No, don't allow anybody make you feel selfish, because they are saying you are selfish in relation to them and not in relation to you. And that is why when you make it a priority to be your own best friend and to be your own priority, you easily see all those things. Hey, that's my sister Lorraine. You are welcome. How was your weekend? I hope you had a beautiful weekend. I hope you're very, very poised for a productive week ahead. And you are welcome to the live. We've been ongoing. Today's topic was, we were asking if it was good for you to set boundaries. We were discussing the importance of setting boundaries, and we set out to answer the question, do you feel guilty when you say no to certain people or certain things? Yep, the day is fine, thank you. And we were just sharing, we've been sharing today, and I would like to hear your own opinion about this topic. Is it difficult for you to say no? When you say no, do you feel guilty? Do you feel bad when you say no to people? I really like to hear your own opinion about it, because this is something that most of often we go out of our way to do things because we want to please people and we want to be seen well. Meanwhile, after that, we are hurting, our peace is affected. So I really want to know, how do you feel when you say no? Or you always go out of your way to help everybody who is asking for help, even when they don't need it, or even when you know that they are just trying to manipulate you emotionally? I like the way the no sounds. Lauren says, no, I will never feel guilty saying no, especially when I'm sharing my truth about an issue. There you are, point on. No one should feel guilty when they are saying no. And I like when you say, especially when you're sharing your truth about an issue. And that is why being authentic is very, very important. Okay, you are right. That is very true. When you are saying your truth, and like we say, when you are your authentic self, say no without even needing to explain anything, because we say no is a complete sentence when it is not favorable, or when it's going to affect your peace, affect your well-being. When you are going to hurt from it, girl, say no. Oh boy, you are right to say no, because you are your own priority. So everything that you do, you have to think about, is it building me or is it going to break me? And then you make your decision. And whether it's a no or a yes, that is up to you. But most often, it is so difficult for us to say no, because the people we are dealing with are family members, or the person is our spouse, or the person is our colleague. Those are people that we see every day. And so we are so familiar with them that when we want to say no, we feel guilty, or we think that we should go out. Sorry, we think that we should go out of our way to help them. Meanwhile, we have to think about ourselves first, and then we can serve others better. And so I completely agree with people who think that you have to say no when you know that you are standing on your truth, and when you know that you are protecting your interests. And experts say, for your yes to have value, you must learn to use your no. Because when you are a yes person, every time when they say, can you help me do this? Yes. Can you do this? Yes. Even when you know that it is out of your way, and that you are going to be hurt, and that you are going to be overwhelmed, but you just say yes, 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 because you are a people pleaser. At the end of the day, you are the one who is going to be broken, you are the one who is going to hurt, and then you are going to be the one who will really feel it. You'll be emotionally drained. Your health is your priority. Balu says, I only have a couple minutes, but I would like to pop up. My hair is girl, don't worry about your hair. You are very welcome. So long as you are happy with it.
Hi, Mary. like my
Finally,
dad.
finally.
So I just want to say how much I enjoy your live streams. I enjoy your message. I fully support everything I've heard you say. You are an inspiration, and you keep the rest of us inspired and help us keep others inspired. So thank you for your service.
I am so honored to have you. I am so proud to have you as my friend,
I'm equally pleased.
as
Thank
my
you.
partner in crime.
If you all didn't know, I actually met Mary Ma on IG before I met her on YouTube. And what a blessing it's been meeting her. And all of you who I did not know until I came here into this live. And I just came up because I wanted to touch back on the not allowing others to mistake our kindness for weakness. So, for anyone who wasn't in the room at the beginning of the live stream, one of the things I said is when I draw my boundary, if I know my boundary is truly right here, I'm going to draw it here because it's human nature for people to try to push for what it is that
Yeah,
they want. They may not immediately respect our choices for ourselves. And by drawing that line a little further away than where it is, it gives me the opportunity to have that second to ask, what would Jesus do? It would also gives me the opportunity to either change my situation with them or, if need be, remove myself from the situation. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we can only control us. We can only control the way we react to others or situations. And it is our obligation to ourselves to remove ourselves from that environment.
absolutely. I want to start by saying your hair is beautiful the way it is.
You're used to seeing it all wild down by the side. I look like I have no hair. Thank
No, it's beautiful. And I
you.
love you the way you are, my Libra sister. And I'm
Yes,
so happy. I appreciate everything you do to encourage and support. And I thank you so much. And
I equally appreciate you, Mary, and that is very sincere.
I know, and I am grateful.
I am equally as grateful. I am equally as blessed, and I do believe that if you believe in God, fine. If you have another creator, just
I
understand
believe in God.
God brings people into our lives at the right moment for the right reason. And
Absolutely.
I won't get into it too far, but I will say I want to stand and testify. As I was trying to dust my knees off and get up, Mary Ma was making sure I was okay. She did not have to do that. In no way, shape, or form was she obligated to do that. If I go back on the dates and the messages, they are earlier than any like or comment on anything I've left on your page on YouTube. So if anybody here didn't know that she was on IG, please go look her up, support her on both platforms because she truly deserves it.
Thank you so much. And you should come back very active on YouTube because you have some beautiful things that you share. And you have such deep gardening experiences that you need to share. Please come back and be more active. I come from a farming a farming parents, and we come from a farming community, so farming for us is really really important. Here I don't have a lot land to farm, but back home we farm and we used to grow almost everything that we eat, except we can just buy maybe the oil and stuff like, because my father also had cows, so
Yeah.
meat was not an issue for us, so we could buy fish and stuff, but most of the time we grew what we ate. And so I really, when you're talking about growing your own things, I just say let her come to the farm, and where you have to walk kilometers before you get to the farm, and
Yes.
then you walk, but you have the satisfaction when you come back home because it is the harvest from the fruits of your labor. So girl, I am so
Absolutely.
proud of you. I thank you so much for every support, and I love you. and we are there for each other, because you can't do it alone. You have to. And you see, one of the things that COVID did was these online communities, and sometimes you meet people, it's like you have known them forever.
Yes,
And when you are a praying person, you meet the people. God puts the people in your life
yes,
with whom you will grow.
yes.
And
Mary, that's hold true for me since the early 2000s because I started out obviously when internet became a thing. I was a master at like searching information that was available. There wasn't as much available now then as there is now. Once I started online gaming, and there were certain people who were a part of my everyday life. They were not just a character on a screen, they were actual people. And as their children grew or their anniversaries came, and these people come into your lives for a reason, I've met some wonderful people from every corner of this earth. And thank goodness for Google Translator because guess what? Without it, we couldn't be friends. So
absolutely,
don't be afraid to step outside of your little box. Don't be afraid. Like Mary knows because she came from another country to Canada. So she absolutely knows. If you're like me and you were born and raised in a small town, understand something. My country itself is so very small. This world is so very small. We are nothing more than a speck in this universe. So if we want to get through it and have joy in our heart, smiles on my face, we need to learn to coexist and not be so full of
absolutely,
ourselves and feel like we need to be the best because reality is no matter how big of a fish you are in your pond, there's a whole ocean out there.
absolutely. And I want to tell Unique Speaks, yes, God definitely makes these divine connections. It's such a blessing to be connected to beautiful spirits as you both. And we are also so blessed to be connected to you, Unique Speaks. You are a woman of fire. When I say fire, it means when you speak the word, places shake and people's lives change. So I am proud of the work that you are doing, because most of often people want to shy away. They hide their faith in public. I don't want people to know that I pray or that I believe in God. We are proud to tell people that we believe in God, and that we know that prayer for us is our master key. Is the is what we do every time, every day, and it is what keeps us. And that is why God connects us with the good people, and that's why we are in the business of collecting good people. So I am so proud of you, Unique Speaks. We are really blessed to have you too. And Lauren says, I believe meeting people will teach you or be taught to help people grow and evolve. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable if they are there to teach you, but accept and grow. We don't
Absolutely.
even, we don't, yeah,
Look,
go ahead.
there's so much to learn. There is no way any of us could possibly ever know it all. So we rely heavily on communication with others to have understanding. We may not be able to offer somebody sympathy, but if we gather that understanding, we can offer empathy and it's free. It costs us nothing. It's free.
And are you saying you don't offer people anything? Sometimes what saves somebody is just a listening ear, somebody who is there to listen to them. And so we shouldn't ever underestimate the power of listening to people, being there for people. And it's so beautiful when you don't know somebody, then you meet, and it's like you knew each other forever. And
Yes,
you just connect. And what connects us? Our faith.
yes.
Because when we are in faith, we don't see black, we don't see white, we don't see gray, we see people. We see a fellow sister, we see a
We
fellow
recognize
brother.
it's the spirit we recognize.
Absolutely.
In my heart, that's what I believe it is.
Absolutely. And Lauren, I can tell you, humility is one of those things that you practice when you are a God-fearing person. And when you are humble, you learn from everybody. You are so open. You don't think nobody knows it all. It's only God that knows it all.
Yeah.
And when you are humble and open to learn, girls, you can learn so many things that will save your life, and you can learn from people that you didn't even expect, even
Yes.
from children. Even
Yes.
look at the other day when a blind guy was and his wife, they said they were learning from the squirrels how to devise creative, how to
But
find
even that,
creative solutions.
yes, but even what she said, that what she learned in that moment, she could have learned two ways. And she chose the positive. Okay. She could have looked
Absolutely.
at it as I learned to steal. But that's not how she looked at it. She looked at it how to be creative. So that speaks about her too. Because she could have come across negative or she could come across, humorous and positive. So
Absolutely.
everything we experience, there's always a positive and a negative there. And if you're ever unsure of which way to go, don't don't be afraid to pray and meditate.
Absolutely.
You can
Bec-
hear.
that is the answer. Like my coach says, prayer is you talking to God, meditating is you listening to God. And so we pray and we meditate because we talk and we listen. We ask and we listen to the response, and we listen to the, and sometimes we know, we praying people, that sometimes when things are not going the way we want, it doesn't mean it's not going the right way,
Yes,
because God knows the right way, and most often He answers us with the right way and not with the way we want. And
yes,
those are some of the things that you learn when you are a praying person.
yes. But should have dropped off 2 minutes ago, so I'll be in the comments.
Love you, girl, and take good care. Thank you so much, Charlene. Thank you for all the wonderful energy and thumbs up. Coach Mary truly appreciates it. I'm so happy to have my sister. And girl, I don't even know how to do, to do the moderation, the moderated thing. And thank you for doing all the work there. Thank you, Unique Speaks. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for everybody who contributed and who is building the world. Absolutely. I don't laugh, because me and Tech, we are not very good friends, but we are cohabiting. We are learning to cohabit. We are not very good friends, but we have to cohabit because we have to make use of each other. I need the tech to make my things work. So I'm going to break it, and I'm going to brave it. And I'm so proud of today's topic and so happy with all the contributions that we had. All the contributions we had, even for those who are going to watch the replay, it is always so useful to just be your own authentic self. I didn't know either. No, it's a learning process. Yep. When the time is right, you get it right. Absolutely. And that's why we are progressing people, because we don't wait to learn it and have it all put together before we start. We start and we learn in the process, because we trust the process, because we know that progress comes in the process, and we will continue doing it. Oh, absolutely, girl. The fellowship of like-minded people, it's always a big blessing. And so we will go back to today. We say we were reflecting on the importance of setting boundaries, and how setting boundaries is an important part of self-care, and that you always just have to know that you are your priority, and your priority is your peace of mind, and that your positive mental health will allow you to effectively deal with life's everyday challenges when you decide to protect your peace. And we talked about what are personal boundaries. And we said personal boundaries are limits we set in our relationships, either with our family, with our colleagues, with the people we know, and we were identifying why it is important to maintain personal boundaries. And some of the things that we discussed was personal boundaries allows you have a healthy and fulfilling relationship with all the people that you relate with, because we can't control what other people will do, but we can control and decide how much we are going to let them affect our lives. And when you set your personal boundaries, it helps you to stay true to yourself. It helps you to maintain self-respect, which are all the things that you need, because you are the one who gives the blueprints for the way you want people to treat you. People will treat you the way you treat yourself and the way you want them to treat you. So you give them the blueprint, and you can only give them the blueprint when you set your boundaries right. Or we also answer the question, how can you set your personal boundaries? And we said you have to start by recognizing when someone is crossing one of your boundaries, and then communicate your boundaries to people clearly and precisely, because communication is key. Communication is key. Be clear and concise in communicating your boundaries. Don't just sit and think that people will infer, or people will they will guess. No, it has to be intentional, because you are protecting your peace, and you are working for you, and you are your own priority. And even when you communicate your boundaries, you have to be willing to enforce your boundaries, which means you have to be willing to stand up for yourself. When somebody tries to cross your boundaries, you tell them no, or you tell them, I don't like this thing that you did, I don't want it to repeat itself. You be clear, you be concise, and you stand up for yourself, because nobody is going to stand up for you. And once people see that you can't stand up for yourself, they are going to even press you further down. And so you are there, you don't let people get away with violating your boundaries, because you have to protect so that it doesn't happen next time. And we try to find out some of the ways. How do I know if someone is crossing my boundaries? Especially two of them: emotional manipulation. Because some people are experts at emotional manipulation. They know the right thing to say, the right response to give, and to make you feel bad and feel guilty. And we said, no, don't feel bad and don't feel guilty. Bible said, like Lucy said, teach a man to fish. If he chooses not to, that is on them. Absolutely. Because you can't help somebody who is not willing to help themselves. And once you find that that is that kind of person, do not let them drag you into their world. And you can stop this by putting the line and not letting them to cross your line. And how do you know those people? Apart from emotional manipulation, excessive requests, there are people who constantly ask you for favors and make unreasonable demands, and they are never there for you. It's not that you give because you expect to receive, but you give because you want the person to grow and to move on, and not coming over and over to ask for the same things. And so, friends, I thank all of you who came to grace this live show, all those who participated in the chat, and especially my beautiful sisters who came up on the panel. I greatly appreciate every contribution. I greatly appreciate everything that you do to make life better and to make the world a better place. They say that it's difficult to change the world, but individually, if we do what is good and what is right, we don't mind what the collective, but at our own level, we are doing things to build, we are serving to build a better world. I want to thank my sister Charlene. And before we end, Balu says, if there is a family you know always needs help at the holidays, this is the time of the year for them to sign up. It is done ahead of time, not in December. Absolutely. Thank you so much. The phone is ringing and I don't want it to get into my live show. And so I love you all. Thank you all. And for those who are watching the replay, you are always welcome. Thank you. We'll see you on Wednesday.